Minnesota campus. In this role, he gives presentations to high school students about the college admissions process and conducts workshops of life skills and career replacement. He has been a Toastmaster for 2 years at other clubs. His speech title for tonight is "You are already a good at public speaking." Thank you.
I appreciate it. All right, good evening, everybody. What if I told you that you're already good at public speaking and you never have to come back to another Toastmaster meeting ever again? It's a bold statement, but there's reasoning behind my madness. You see, this past weekend, I experienced insights about public speaking. I got the opportunity to travel to West Palm Beach with a friend of mine for a 2-day cruise to the Bahamas. And on the 4-hour trip there, we talked about different subjects, and the subject of public speaking and Toastmasters came up. I told him about my experience and how I used to be really shy, and how this club has helped me so much in my life. And he wasn't buying into it. He thought that you have to be very charismatic to be a public speaker. You have to be very social. You have to be a natural born speaker. And we disagreed on that. And interestingly enough, as soon as he said that, there was this car that pulled in behind us and very abruptly cut us off. And at that moment, my friend freaked out. His little mid voice went up like 2 to 3 octaves. He was very compelling. He was using different gestures. He was very eloquent. At that point, he was one of the best speakers I have ever heard. And I was so amazed. I'm like, Brandon, this is it. This is the exact vibe that you have to have when you speak in front of an audience. You're already good at public speaking. And I thought about that, and I remember one of the things my mentors told me. He said, public speaking, the journey of it, is not so much about adding on techniques and different things, but it's about letting go. Letting go of that critic inside your own head, that nervousness, that anxiety, and getting back in touch with that passion that you have for speaking in general. So today I'm going to talk about 3 epiphanies, 3 mindsets that my mentor told me, and that's the new journey that I'm taking in public speaking. So the first one has to do exactly with that, getting out of your own way, right? We're already good at public speaking because when we talk to our friends and our family members, we speak it in a very effortless kind of way. We're very passionate when we talk to our friends about our favorite sports teams or what's going on in our lives, right? That's already effortless. And that's the exact vibe that we need when we speak in front of an audience. Most people come up here and they think they have to put on a persona. It's like, oh, it's showtime. Let me put on the show to wow the audience. No, you already have that vibe. And that's the goal, the journey of public speaking, is learning how to harness that vibe and share that passion with the audience, right? Another thing to keep in mind is when we're writing speeches, for example, the trouble that I had when I first started out is I didn't know how to be interesting in my speech or how to be fun. It's like, oh, how can I make the audience like me? How can I make things sound very interesting? And the thing is, you do that by you being interested in your own speech, right? So you talk about things that you're passionate about. And by the law of state transference, so that's the law that says whatever you feel, the audience feels, right? That's why when you're in a bus or when you're in a crowd or a conference and somebody sits next to you, they're slouching, you can tell what they're feeling. Even though they're not telling you explicitly with words, you know exactly the emotions that they're feeling. Well, same here, right? If you're very passionate about something, if you're into it, the crowd is going to feel that emotion as well. Same thing about being funny. You know, we think that we have to come up with these clever jokes, we have to be really witty. But no, all you have to do first is make yourself laugh, be self-amused, and the crowd will follow as well. You know, we've all heard that fact that communication, 60 or 80% of it is mostly body language, right? And that's so true, especially in front of an audience, because the audience can only listen and process so much information at a time. They're going to be looking at the sub-communications, the emotional cues, to find out exactly what it is you're trying to deliver as well. And that's so key. So that's the first epiphany that I had when it comes to public speaking. And building on that, the second one has to do with the mindset that we have for the audience. A lot of the times we come up here and we think we have to win the audience over, right? Why are we assuming that we're not good enough to begin with? Why are we assuming that we have to go out of our way to conquer the audience? Instead, we have to switch from a competitive mindset to a collaborative mindset, right? The audience is already on your side. They're already supporting you. They want you to succeed. And that's so important because everything you say, your emotions, the way you feel, stems from that assumption. If you're standing from the assumption that you have to win the audience over, you're putting all this pressure on yourself. And you can't think clearly, you can't focus. But if you come from the assumption that yes, the audience does like you, they're already on your side, you have this collaborative experience. Whereas you look at the audience and you can actually feed off their feedback. And you can actually adapt to the situation at hand. And it makes such a fun and amazing experience. So that's the second mindset that we have to think about. Now finally, the third one has to do with the whole notion of the progress we make in public speaking. I remember when I first started out, I was so excited to get through the 10 speeches in the manual as fast as possible because I wanted to be a great public speaker. So I was very impatient. And I would self-sabotage myself because I wanted to go really, really fast, right? So I would get really frustrated if I didn't do well in a speech, and I would be my own worst critic. I was very judgmental. But the thing to understand is that every time you get up and speak, you make a 1% improvement. Every time you volunteer for a table topic, for a role, every time you do a prepared speech, you become 1% better. It's not like all of a sudden you're going to be this amazing speaker. No, it's 1% increments. And over time, those little 1% add up, and you'll be surprised how good you're going to be 3 months, 6 months from now. But the key is being patient and being proactive about your Toastmasters experience. Whenever there is a table topic presentation, you know, as soon as you feel those butterflies, that means that you should do it. Because it doesn't matter how well you do on the table topic, just the fact that you volunteered, that by itself is a victory. That is a 1% improvement because you're dealing with that social pressure. And every time you do something like that, your body's going to get adjusted to it. Your psychology is going to get used to that social pressure as well. Okay? So let's recap those 3 epiphanies that I've had. Number 1, get out of your own way. You can do this by just harnessing that vibe that you have when you speak to your friend, to your family, to your loved one, when you're passionate about something. Remember how that feels and try to emulate that when you're speaking in front of an audience. When you're writing content for a speech, if you want to be interesting, be interested in it yourself. What do you find passionate? If you want to be funny, what do you find funny? And by being giddy here, by being so joyful, the audience will pick up on that as well. And finally, the third one has to do with being patient. Realize that public speaking is a journey. There's never a destination. Even the world's best speakers are always constantly improving. Okay? So thank you guys so much. You're already good at public speaking. It's not about adding, it's about letting go. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Juan, for the energetic speech and